If you would stand and join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Hi, Travis. Welcome, everybody. Let me see. First will be the public comment. Any public comment this evening? Yes, Ken.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you. Given what transpired last month, I would suggest that you remove the good of the order portion of tonight's meeting and future meetings.
Can you speak
doesn't
up?
make
Yeah,
much,
I can't hear that. I heard part of that.
It doesn't make much sense to me to have a good of the order. It's been over a year since I walked in with Mr. Merrill and reported the trailer and the dump on port property. It's been 7 months since I reported the hazard tree with a wedge in it. I was no trespassed after I discovered additional hazard trees. You rescinded that order the same special meeting that the carry agreement was approved, but not until you disparaged me at that meeting. In July, I sent you pictures of quad tracks entering that property. In August, Mr. Leffler felled the willow tree blocking the road, and he and you folks won't tell me who directed him to do that and why the other trees weren't mitigated. Last week, I sent you another message of the hazard tree had fallen or been fallen and stripped of all the boughs. Yesterday, I found loppers on the property that appeared to have fallen off of a quad. This has gone on too long. Before anything else happens on that property, the boundaries need to be surveyed and marked. I have repeatedly suggested that if a park is planned for that property, it needs to follow a proper rezone public process. You and the Salmon Enhancement Group are putting the cart ahead of the horse. Last month, I attended the meeting and left after the public comment section. Chairman Scott, you let Mr. Coppola speak for over 3 minutes in a good of the order situation, and he spoke about the carry agreement, and he further disparaged Mr. Carey and myself, supposing that I had obtained a, quote, confidential agreement document, and it should be investigated as to how I obtained it. You didn't shut him down until Mr. Sheridan, Commissioner Sheridan, mentioned it, and he immediately shut down the comment period, and I appreciate that, Commissioner Sheridan. Mr. Coppola followed up with an angry email to me, which was over the top. I was sent that agreement on June 30th, the same day other members of the public received it, the same day you received it, from Ms. Dennis. I hold you, Commissioner Scott, Mr. Coppola, and Ms. Dennis accountable, and you have once again publicly violated that carry agreement. You need to document Mr. Coppola's performance and discipline him accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? No? Okay. We're now at the consent of the agenda, approval of the agenda, excuse me. Do you have any changes or anything to the agenda?
No.
Okay. By the way, Commissioner Jackson is unavailable, excused absence tonight, so just so that everybody knows. Okay, so do I hear a motion to accept the agenda as proposed?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
Okay, I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now we're moving to consent agenda items. First one is the approval of the regular meeting minutes of September 7th.
Okay. I've looked at those. I'll make a motion to approve those regular meeting minutes from the 7th of September.
Okay, I will second it. Now, Ken, go ahead.
As per the consent agenda approval, I would ask that be taken off the agenda for separate discussion. The reason, or you can do it right now, before you approve those minutes, the minutes of that meeting regarding new business is not accurate and should be amended. Mr. Capola's comments were done under good of the order, and those minutes don't reflect the good of the order. It wasn't under new business. I have a transcription of his comments, and the minutes are not accurate as to what he said, and I think you folks know that. Thank you.
I'm looking at it to see what is, I don't see who is reflecting that.
Do you know where, I didn't see anything that was inaccurate
No.
from my recollection.
It's in public comment where I commented on what Mr. Van Buskirk just talked about. I did not remember if it was good of the order or not. If it was, I can amend the minutes to reflect that. But it's the next to the last comment.
Well, it's in here.
Yeah, it's in here under public comment.
Yeah. But personally, I don't think we should remove good of the order. We've always had it. Everybody has their First Amendment rights, including us.
Yeah,
So
I'm not going to change the good of the order. It's just in good faith to have it there. I mean, we don't need to dig deeper into a negative direction, in my opinion. We just need to stay on point, and I respect what he was saying, but I don't agree with it.
Okay, so are you in agreement with accepting the minutes?
I am, and yeah, this is not, minutes, in the spirit of the minutes, it's not intended to be a complete transcript. Otherwise, that's just the way the minutes are set up. It's meant to capture basically the content of, and speak to it as closely and directly as you can, but it's not a quote unquote. It is it's a meeting. They're minutes. They're not a transcription of the entire meeting. So I'm still okay with the motion I made to accept the meeting, the minutes as they were on September 7th of last month.
Okay,
So.
it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Okay, next one is the action items. Would you like to read those, Commissioner Sheridan?
Sure. So,
Here.
I'm good.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I'm good. So, I've looked.
It's these.
Yeah, these right here.
Correct.
Okay. So, I'll make a motion to approve the voucher for $21,347.60, and the voucher for $21,860.02, and the voucher for 400 and
Where are you finding that?
wait a minute. There's
It should be on this. Read these ones, because these are the final ones. The general fund vouchers for $20,146. Is that what you got? 43.
okay. Hold on. There's something not right here.
That's because that's September.
Oh,
This is
my,
October.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
All right. So.
Oh, did I borrow
No,
your agenda?
No, I've got this. I'm being corrected, and I stand corrected, so let's do this again.
There we go.
All right, so I make a motion to approve the voucher for $20,146.43, $21,445.11, and the voucher for $870.54. Yep.
And the use of digital signature.
And the use of the digital signatures.
Okay, I will second it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so moved.
Okay.
Commissioners report.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
In talking with Joe Brogan, we have an executive session scheduled.
Yes.
Joe has some personal stuff he has to do. Could we maybe move to do that first so he can go?
That would be fine if it's okay with the audience. Yes, that's fine.
You guys okay with that? Our attorney has got some other business. We'd like to go ahead and change the executive session now.
Okay, we'll leave the room.
Do you want, okay. I don't expect to be too long.
I apologize to the
How long are we
inconvenience.
supposed to do this?
I don't have it on here.
Thank you.
Okay, and we need to turn the cameras off. So you need to adjourn the
Okay.
meeting, start the executive session, and we turn the cameras off.
Okay, probably should have told me that before we approved the agenda.
True. Well, we're making an adjustment right
Yeah,
now.
well, that's true. It's
So-
30 minutes.
So let me make a motion to modify the agenda.
Well, are we still recording? Okay, good.
Yeah, so let me make a motion to modify the agenda for a situation where it accommodates our council to move right into an executive session.
Okay, I'll second that. So with that change, we shall move, replace that in the commissioners' reports. We'll go into executive session, of which is for 30 minutes, and it is concerning litigation. Okay, you ready, Diedrich?
Okay.
The meeting is officially reinstated. Now we can go to commissioners' reports. Do you have anything, John?
Sure, just two things. One is I attended the regular meeting September 7th last month here at Port of Allyn, and then I did my monthly meeting with Mason Transit Authority September 20th. And on Saturday, this last weekend, Jeff Carey called me and had some questions. It was a good conversation, just for the record, and he had some questions, and then he followed up, and Larry talked to him after that regarding the water. So that's it. Excuse me.
Okay, mine was, of course, the regular meeting on the 7th, and then Economic Development Council on the 8th, and then I was invited to the North Mason, or to the Chamber of Commerce on the 17th. Thank you, Larry and Dee, for giving me a ticket to go.
It's wonderful to see you. You look beautiful.
Thank you. It was really great. The recipients were, let me see, Greg Oldham got one of them. He's a local realtor. Citizen of the Year was, of course, forgot his first name, Lefevre. What's the
guy from,
dentist?
LaPierre.
LaPierre.
Yeah.
Thank you, yes. Yes, he got the Citizen of the Year again. He's really funny. Can't remember who the business was.
The one for, no, that was nonprofit.
Who was the nonprofit?
The youth thing,
Oh, yes, that's right. I can't remember what their,
I can't either. But they were the
Terrible.
nonprofit of the year.
yeah. But they did a
And
lot.
wasn't it Peninsula Credit Union the Business of the Year?
I don't think it was.
I thought it
Might
was.
have been.
I could
Yeah,
be
maybe it
wrong.
was. But anyway, it was really well attended, and it was great. So, okay, Travis, you're next. Thank you.
Okay. Travis Merrill, Port Allen Security. If you read the report, there's quite a bit there, over a page this time. For some reason, on the 5th, somebody fake locked the gates before I came down to lock them. They just closed them and made them look locked. That was you?
I don't know, I know who it was.
Oh, you know who it was?
Yeah, I didn't know why he did that, but it was sheriff.
It was a sheriff?
It was a sheriff.
Huh.
Yeah, he came.
Wow.
in. He told me my garage door was open, the man door was open, because it was hot.
That's
You know,
good.
let air out,
Oh,
but and he says, I went ahead and locked the gate, and, said, okay.
Well, they closed the gate. I came and locked it.
Oh,
Okay.
So,
Oh, okay.
well, that's a good thing.
but mystery solved.
Yeah.
Guess you can't get them out there when you need them.
I've had a run-in with a vehicle that we've kind of called the cops on before a couple of years back. Here at this facility, I've been finding him there on the North Shore. leaving his vehicle with a female in the car that doesn't have the keys, to ride a bike at 8:30 at night on the North Shore. To me, that's pretty suspicious. I let him know that if the car was ever found there again, I would just immediately have it towed, and left my number and name to call me in case I had any questions about it, concerns. Never did receive that call, but I will keep an eye out for that vehicle. We had another incident with a vessel that decided to launch even though it could not operate. The vessel was then towed by a long line down the dock all the way over to the moorage area, and then moored and paid for moorage, but also paid for moorage at 23 feet when the boat was obviously larger. After about 4 days, we decided to get it posted properly, tell them that they needed to remove the vessel because it didn't operate, because it was beginning to feel like a derelict situation. Ended up talking to the woman who owned the boat, someone I've addressed a few years back that kind of played word games and wasn't always paying properly. So we just the next day just went down and said, you've got to leave. You need to be out of here, or we're gonna lock the boat down. And they ended up leaving the next day. So of course the boat, they kept telling me they needed a new starter. They told me that when they launched the boat they didn't have any gas. It was just back and forth, and maybe a policy could be in place that boats that don't operate aren't able to be launched and stored at our facility. They need to operate when they launch them. It was more like they were putting the boat in there so they could live on it, because I couldn't find a time where the young lady wasn't there.
Okay.
So, other than that, this will be on next month's reports, but we definitely have a theft issue going on at the Sweetwater Creek property.
Okay.
Of boughs.
All right.
The tree that Ken had notified us that had been partially cut.
Yeah.
Somebody came in with an axe and finished the job. I could tell by the way it was cut.
How are they getting in? Are they getting into
So
the
From the back with an ATV.
so I went ahead and I walked the entire trail all the way to the top, all the way to the railroad tracks. I found a shooting range up there on probably Johnson property, which used to be Overton's. I found another tree in that shooting range area that had been cut, bucked up, that was a cedar, and also the limbs were removed for boughs.
And it's not on our property?
Not on our property,
Overton.
not that second one,
So-
but the first one is.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
First one is. But they were getting access through that road that goes all the way up to the railroad tracks.
So access through Overton's property?
No, not in my opinion, because what I found is when you take that trail all the way to the top, there's a T-junction.
Okay.
And if you
yeah,
go to the left,
yeah,
that'll take you up to the railroad tracks where the shooting range is.
Okay,
But if you go to the right, that trail leads you down 2 properties south to where all the tracks are showing, where the quads are making multiple trips back and forth. As you get to the shooting range, that's where the tracks really stop.
okay.
They don't really go up to the actual railroad tracks. So
All right.
I would say that it's what's happening is that most likely that property that's south of the Sweetwater Creek property, where people have a house,
Okay.
that's where the boughs are being taken, because I found boughs littering the road all the way towards their property.
That was nice of them.
So there is a nice ecology block that is halfway up the hillside that's might be on our property, might not be. If we do a survey, we could find out. We could easily turn that ecology block so that it's very hard for anyone to get down there, because it's cliffside on the other side and hillside there. It's on the kind of the hill junction.
Yeah,
There's an old cable gate up there, but that's up most likely where Overton's former property was, and now I believe Johnson's.
Okay,
But, yeah, a survey so we know where that dead line is, so we're not blocking the road, not on our property,
Okay.
would be the most important aspect.
okay.
But that's about all I got for now.
I have a question. So,
Sure.
so I know that, Larry, we're talking about getting trespassing signs up at the top.
Yep.
They'll be ready sometime this week.
Yeah, and I went up on Saturday with Dawn, and we went up and staked those out.
Okay, cool. And then I suggested that we also put authorized personnel only as
That's
well.
what's on it.
Okay,
It says no trespassing, authorized personnel only, violators will be
so
prosecuted.
it also is saying at the same time that basically, of course, we are authorized to go out and do things that we need to do to take care of business for that property, but it's speaking to that matter indirectly.
Right.
So, okay.
I'm
good.
having 6 of those made.
Okay. Cool.
And I called a surveyor today to,
Okay.
find the property corners. Because when you look at the map on Mason County GIS and you see where the property lines are,
Yeah.
there's a lot of what's happening seems to not be on our property, but we need to know where our property is for
Sure.
sure. And if that ecology block is on our property, we need to use it to block the road.
Right.
I mean, there's no two ways about that.
So we gotta get there, that's all.
Yeah.
I understand. And,
So I didn't hear back from the surveyor today, but hopefully I'll hear back from him tomorrow.
All we
I
can
told him
do-
we needed the north and south corners
Okay.
marked.
all we can do is just continue to pay attention to that, and good job, Travis.
There's also the, when Dawn and I went up there on Saturday, we walked not quite that far. That's why I didn't know about the quad tracks until today when I went up, all the way up. But when we were up there, we walked about halfway up where we decided, here's a good spot to stake out where those signs should go. So we had left the property, and then I got a call on Sunday from Ken saying that he had found a pair of clippers up there
Okay.
that we didn't see before. And Ken ended up meeting me up there today to show me where he found the clippers and gave me the clippers.
Well, it certainly explains how the tree came down.
Well, the clippers are about this big.
Well, I don't mean the clippers, but-
they're mostly for lopping limbs,
But how it happened, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Travis.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Travis. Did you let people in the waiting room in?
No, I did not. Let me do that
I
real
think we
quick.
need to apologize to Phil. Because Phil was the only one that zoomed in, correct?
Yeah. Okay, I let him in now.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
we're sorry, we just.
I didn't, yeah, I owe them an apology.
Just a quick
Better
one.
tell him, huh?
I didn't think
Sorry,
of it.
Phil.
All right.
Okay, next would be the executive director's report.
All right, financial issues. Revenues are performing as expected for this time of the year in this economy. While expenses have exceeded our budget in several instances, most notably what we paid out in legal fees from the general fund, money is tight and cash flow somewhat problematic. We will see our property tax receipts at the end of this month, and getting through the end of April, when we get those property tax receipts from then, going to be a cash flow balancing act. We have a resolution on the agenda for you to approve a loan, with interest of course, from the water fund to the general fund, and I'm working with our bank to secure a line of credit as well. Once we get through the end of April, we'll be fine and can begin paying back whatever we borrow from both. As you can see from the general fund vouchers, we've also cut expenses to the bone and are deferring anything we can until then. So 2023 will be a lean year with a very tight belt. We'll be starting the 2023 budget process this coming week, and I expect to have a public hearing at the November 7 meeting. May all want to have a special meeting sometime this month to review what we come up with and add your input to it, perhaps as part of the special meeting that we need to set up for the public hearing on redistricting. I've already informed staff the only increases we will budget for will be a cost of living. In other words, nobody's getting a raise. Dealing with the modem issue at the Hood Canal Marina pay station has seemingly taken on a life of its own. The original modem was defective and the Ventec shipped us a new one under warranty in time for Labor Day weekend. However, it too has issues. Due to the poor quality of cellular service there and the fact internet isn't available there from either Hood Canal Communications or Wave, or Astound or whatever it's called now, makes transmitting our payment data to the bank a hit and miss proposition. We originally provisioned our own cellular service rather than use Ventec's because of the cost, $45 per month per machine, which adds up to about $2,000 a year, compared to $13 each using Verizon. But it looks like we may have to use Ventec's in that one location to make it work dependably. I've asked for a discount due to that, and I'm waiting on a decision from Ventec. Jan is continuing to work on the reconciliations, but had some very unexpected family issues come up, which has slowed her down. It's also told me that perhaps her initial timeline on this was somewhat optimistic, as I told you last month, but she is making headway. It's also going to teach Leanne how to do the reconciliations correctly, but has not been able to yet due to her personal situation. I spoke with her last Friday, and she said she's back on track and apologized for the delay. Water system issues. I've received all the documents from the state for the grant for the new well. I got comments back from the Squaxin tribe and not the Skokomish tribe yet. Squaxins have agreed to approve if the county will agree to formalize a letter that was signed many years ago concerning Sherwood and Anderson Creek into a memorandum of agreement. I sent a note to the county commissioners, but have yet to get a response. Also needed a couple of other clarifications from the engineers, which they'll have to me this week. But we should be ready for final submission in plenty of time. We're also going to need a cultural resource survey on the well site, but that cost will be covered by the grant, or reimbursed by it. Aspec and Northwest Water have also finalized everything to put this project out to bid, which we should be able to do once the state and the tribe sign off on everything. As far as the acquisition of Jeff Carey's water system, I filled out the application from Department of Health, but need a sign-off from both tribes as well. Sent them both letters asking for that, and I'm awaiting responses. Joe has put together the basic paperwork for the acquisition, and Jeff and I will meet with both Aspect Consulting and Northwest Water about tying this all together shortly. We also may need to acquire some additional property at the well site for accommodating the additional equipment. Jeff owns that adjacent lot and has agreed to work with us on either an easement or purchase. The lot isn't buildable, but it does have a nice view, so what isn't used could make a nice pocket park. We're eligible for Department of Health funding for consolidation of the two systems, and I've begun the paperwork for our application. But we do need to acquire that property. The loan will cover it, or cover half of it. The application period opened today, but we will have ours ready to go once we know what the final dollar amount we need to ask for is. Groundbreaking event. The lobbyists would like to schedule a groundbreaking ribbon cutting for the new well at the site either the 17th or 18th of October or the 24th or 25th of the month. They're coordinating with all the elected to see what dates work for them. But you all need to be aware as well, and at least one of you, or all of you, should attend. County commissioners and state representatives will all be invited. Security camera issues. I turned this over to Joe Brogan, who sent the vendor a demand letter telling him that we want the equipment removed and the $18,000 we paid for the cameras refunded because he hasn't supplied all the cameras we paid for or completed the installation. The letter also said that if he didn't respond, we would file suit. Meanwhile, I met with another vendor who's done work for several other ports and I'm waiting for a bid. One thing that may work to resolve this is the new vendor may be able to use the equipment supplied by the original vendor if their software is compatible. I believe the main reason the original vendor hasn't responded is because he doesn't have the $18,000 to refund to us or have money to purchase the additional units to complete what he agreed to do when he couldn't get the original cameras we paid for. That $18,000 was supposed to cover paying for all the cameras he agreed to supply. However, if the existing equipment could be reused and redeployed in a different way, we could offer to settle for a small refund, which would reduce the cost of the bid for the new equipment. So now we're waiting to see how or if the original vendor responds. I did some math on this just right before the meeting and sent it off to Joe, and it looks like what hasn't been supplied to us adds up to around $12,000. So, you know, we could say, pay us $12,000 and we'll keep the equipment and maybe make this work. We had also purchased a separate camera system from Costco just to monitor the doors of this building. Unfortunately, it never did work right and burned through batteries in less than 48 hours. We bought new batteries, believing perhaps what came with them were defective but had the same problem. I returned them to Costco. We got a full refund. Redistricting. We have to have our redistricting complete by next month. We have the population numbers, and based on those, do not need to redraw the boundaries. Before adopting a plan, we must publish a draft plan and hold a special meeting, including the notice and comment, within 10 days of publishing the draft plan and at least 1 week before adopting it. We publish a draft plan on the website and put the link on our Facebook page, but it isn't considered published until there's a legal notice in the Shelton Journal. So that means we'll need you to set at least one special meeting for a public hearing within 10 days of the public notice, or no later than the 20th. We can amend the draft if necessary after receiving public comments and resubmit any amended draft plan for an additional written public comment at least 1 week before adopting the plan. I've included the rules in your meeting packet, but we do need to set a date at this meeting for the public hearing and a meeting to adopt the plan. Delegation of authority update at the executive seminar in July. Frank Schmelik brought up the fact states increased the amount for no bid contracts to $40,000. He suggested executive directors review their level of spending authority and ask for it to be increased if it wasn't that high. At the WPPA Small Parts meeting being held this month, Frank's doing a class on why this is a good idea and will be answering questions, so I hope all of you attending will be there for that. Old business, Oyster House, nothing new to report on the building itself. Geoengineers have straightened out the confusion with the Army Corps permit. We've applied for and have been approved for the hydraulic permit for our Hood Canal facilities and tentatively for Allyn. Fish and Wildlife representative for Allyn has asked for specific information on the Oyster House platform that I had to go back to Art Anderson for. Hopefully this will be resolved this week. Seems to want to cross every T and dot every I at least twice. Our goal is to get the pile driving out to bid as soon as possible, so hopefully we'll be able to drive piles during the fish window this year, which closes February 15th of next year. Timing's a critical issue for both, getting someone to bid on this as well as getting the work done in a timely manner. Sweetwater Park, as reported previously, the Salmon Center have been working with a volunteer organization to clean up the Peterson parcel, and they cleaned up our property last month as well. Peterson parcel cleanup isn't finished yet. The balance of the work has to be rescheduled to coordinate with help from DNR. Meanwhile, the Salmon Center closed on the Peterson property and has taken ownership of it. At some future point, they will transfer ownership to us, but there's no rush on that, at least not until the project can be funded. I needed to secure a Hulk inspection to remove what's left of a travel trailer on our portion, and that's been completed. Entire property remains closed to the public until the tree situation is completely resolved, which will happen when the park is developed and be paid for out of the grant. Meanwhile, we've posted no trespassing signs on the boundaries of the property, and we have new signs that are be ready this week. And I'm thinking about deploying trail cameras to see if we have violators. RCO is aware of the situation, has agreed our actions are totally appropriate and acceptable to them. Kitsap All Ports meeting, next meeting is October 24th, and I have been elected to take minutes for that meeting. So, nothing new to report on criminalization of marina rules. So that's my report. I'm happy to answer any question.
I have one.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the redistricting had to be completed by next month, you're
Yeah.
saying? But only if we do it, right? We
No,
don't have to
there's a
redistrict.
process we still have to do.
Right, but my question is, we don't have to redistrict.
No.
Right. But if we do,
No,
we need to do
yeah.
it by next month.
I don't see us having to change the boundaries at all.
I don't either.
The state likes you to have no more than 5% difference between any district. Your district and Ted's district are fine. Judy's district has the least amount of population growth, but the percentage between her district, which has the least, and Ted's, which has the most, is 6.6 something.
Plus, there's gonna be other
But-
developing and changing.
But and that's the reason I don't think we need to change the
Right.
boundaries, is,
Yeah,
you know,
let's
there's,
get done.
what, 1,000 units going in up there.
Not quite, but still, there's enough, like
Yeah.
400.
450 apartments,
Yeah.
250 homes.
Yeah,
It's
so
still a
you
lot of
figure,
people, right?
you know, that's 700
Yeah,
people
that's true.
if there's only one person per unit.
Right, or 1,400. But there's other things, it's just not a big enough shift. as
No,
far as
there's
I'm
not,
concerned.
there's
That's-
not.
That's my point, actually.
You know, we're well within the 5%.
We're close, yeah.
So that's why I don't think we need to redraw the boundaries. We just got to go through the process.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to, that was my question, and thank you for that.
Okay.
That's a good report.
Okay. Sorry, got distracted here. Let me,
I shouldn't say it's a good report, it's just well put together.
Thank you.
All right,
appropriately said.
right.
Okay, next is the approval of resolution, oh, you went through old business items already. So approval of resolution 2022-011, which is the loan from the water fund to the general fund. Larry, would you like to?
You want me to read it? Sure.
Sure, you can read it, but I think it was already explained anyway.
So,
Actually, John, go ahead and read it.
well,
It's-
this is resolution zero, this has got a different number here on the approval of that fund.
Oh, yeah.
It
that
should
one
be
says 11.
220, I think it should be 22010. Because
Okay.
we had used that number before, but we
Didn't use it?
we never proposed to
Adopt the resolution.
adopt the resolution, so
Okay.
I reused the number.
So the 010
Yes.
is
Is
the
the correct
correct
number?
Yes.
resolution
Okay.
number.
Yes.
So
Please
we,
note that.
we proved it as it is with a change
Right.
in the agenda.
Thank you. Okay,
All
go
right.
ahead. Would you like to
Yeah,
read
sure.
that?
Be it resolved by the Commissioners of the Port of Allyn as follows, whereas the Board of Commissioners of the Port of Allyn have met and after a discussion about its finances have considered the proposed loan from Port Water's fund to its general fund. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners, after duly considering all relevant evidence, hereby resolves to approve the loan from its water fund to its general fund to be used for operating expenses as may be needed and to be repaid with an interest rate equal to the state pool amount of 2.532861% beginning May of 2023. I make a motion to approve that.
Okay, I'll second it. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Okay. Next is, discussion of the redistricting and set a date for the public hearing.
We pretty much discussed it.
We did.
Yeah, well, because it was my question, so I
Yeah.
got ahead of us a little bit, but, and thank you, that was a good answer, so,
So really, we don't have to, we just have to have the public hearing to have any comments from
Right.
from the
Pretty much.
community, and then we can continue on without,
without changing anything, really.
correct, yeah.
Yeah, we're not going to redraw the districts,
Yeah.
there's no need to.
I don't think so
Okay.
either.
You know,
So
we do
let's set
have
it-
to have a public hearing
Let's
about
set a
it.
date.
So it needs to be sometime between now and the 20th, because Leanne's going to do the public notice, which is,
10 days.
constitutes publication,
Okay.
and it has to be within 10 days.
Well, I
Okay.
can't get,
Publication would be on Thursday of this week.
no, we would already have had to have had it in. Monday's their deadline for that week, so I can't get it
Oh,
until
they told me it was Wednesday.
Monday.
Okay.
The
So
deadline for the
For
shop.
this, yeah, they can't.
Yeah, when
Usually
you were
it's
off, I
Tuesday.
had to
Used to
do
be
one, and I
Tuesdays.
called, and they told me Wednesday was the deadline.
Used to be
Wednesday morning
Tuesdays.
and 10.
But Thursday, they're already delivering the paper, how could that be?
Okay, well, whatever.
Okay, so
Whatever.
we'll roll with, Well, roll with your knowledge.
But Thursday is the publication date.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
But we
It's
can
not
get
when,
it this
it's,
Thursday.
no, it's not when it's due to the paper, it's when the paper prints it. That's the publication date.
Okay, we can get it in on the 13th.
So Tuesday is no longer their deadline? Monday now? They
Monday.
changed it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you, everybody please tell me where we're at now?
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's
We're just
okay.
trying to figure out when it can get published.
Right.
That's the issue.
Yeah,
Because
and then we
from then we have to go 10 days or less than 10 days.
Okay.
Okay, so the 13th would be publication and 10 days from there.
So we'll be able to meet that publication for the 13th, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
very easy.
And then 13th is 10 days later, right?
No.
No,
It'll be
within
half
10
an hour
days.
after-
13th
Within
and 10 days after that.
Okay.
Okay, I will be not around on the 21st through the 23rd. So,
Okay.
Yeah, we'll all be.
Yeah.
I'll be
Gone.
gone, yes,
Yeah.
okay. So we could
Earlier.
set a meeting, what's going on the 24th? You mentioned something about the 24th,
It's Diwali.
huh?
It's Diwali.
The
Wally.
Wally.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just on my calendar as some
Oh.
kind of
Okay.
holiday.
Well,
So, but you, in your report, you said that there was
There it is, right there.
Okay. Can't believe you.
opening, there was a ribbon cutting
Oh, it
for
is
when?
Denali.
Well, we need to schedule it. She wants to do it either that week or the week before.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, and that's where she mentioned the 24th
Yeah.
and the 25th.
And
So,
we'll
let's-
have the property cleared and have it all looking good. We'll have to get some shovels, paint them gold and, you know,
Okay.
photo op.
So what about having the public hearing on the 24th, which is a Monday?
That works for me.
That works for me too.
Okay, me too.
What time?
6?
Well, can we do it? Well, I'm gonna just let it go the way it's gonna go. So whatever works for you guys. We have a.
What would everybody suggest?
It's a public hearing, so we want to make sure we have it.
Oh, it is a public hearing. That's
Yeah.
right. But it's a special meeting, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So,
6, probably? 6
Okay.
PM?
is there any way we can do it like 4 p.m.?
That doesn't make sense for public.
Oh, it
They're
doesn't?
working or
People are
whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why we do it at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Okay, 6 p.m. then it is. How's that?
Okay.
Okay,
On the 24th.
24th, correct. So do we need to sign these documents, or is the document, the signature okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
Electronic signature now,
It's-
okay.
Yeah, you all approved it, so it's
Okay.
good.
Just making sure.
Okay, redistricting. All right.
Okay. You think we're done with the new business? Do we have anything for the good of the order? Oh, public, oh,
Public
that didn't
comment.
get put in there, sorry.
What?
About public comment. Let's go ahead and do public comment first. Any public comment? Phil? Hi, Phil.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
here.
Phil, go ahead.
Um,
We'll have Phil.
Yeah, just curious, what is the, I mean, how many acres is the property
where there's concerns over endangered trees and people and trails, whatnot. How many acres is that parcel?
Both of those parcels that, make up our property is
5 acres. 5 acres.
Okay, well, you have 5 acres, I mean, things happen. You have 5 acres in an urban area, okay? So it's, it's bough season, right? I mean, I think they usually start harvesting tree boughs for wreaths and stuff in September, maybe late September. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna get some bough theft. I mean, I remember, Dave Sims, my old boss once said, remember Dave, Judy? And I was really concerned. I was really, really concerned because we had somebody cut down a tree for firewood. And he goes to me, I was kind of new to a forest, and I came from Eastern Washington where nothing really bad happened. Okay, we just had big pines and great people and really rural, and nothing ever happened. It was kind of boring, actually, to Belfair. And so he says to me, I'm really concerned about this one tree. He says, Phil, we're managing a forest, not a tree. And I think, some of this is you can't, and it really comes back to money, it really comes down to money. I mean, we're seeing this at the Port of Greatview. We're seeing it all over, the junior taxing districts, the fire departments. Inflation is hitting local government, and we can't spend money just because we'd like to, on some I'm sorry, just kind of some frivolous things. I mean, you put up the no trespass, personally, I don't like no trespassing signs, but I get it. I understand. But you put up the signs, and you kind of, you walk away, we can't micromanage things, because who knows when, the money's going to happen to develop the property, or, develop the park, and this and that. So that's, that's my comment. As far as cameras go, and I know that, Ring cameras can only do so much, and, and I get it, but they are super simple. I suppose you guys probably have, but they are super simple to install and operate. And interesting enough, what's also advantageous about cameras is, or not, is you can get an IR detector on your phone that tells you if there's a camera, because it senses if it's an IR. So that itself is a deterrent. Knowing that there's cameras, having an IR detector on your phone, knowing that there's a camera, is a deterrent. It also might lead to the loss of your camera as well. But anyway, I just, it's just food for thought. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's
All
great.
right.
Thank you, Phil.
Thanks, Phil. It's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah,
All
thank you.
right.
I'm serious. Game cameras would be something interesting.
Yeah.
The little game cameras you put up there
Yeah.
on the trail.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Barry, did you have some comment? Would you like to?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Do I introduce myself?
Sure.
Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Barry Betzinger, live in Allyn, right next to your park here. And I'm glad I wanted to do this during what you call the good of the order, because you do an awful lot of good. We hear bad all the time, and I know you guys hear bad all the time, but, in the spring and summer of 2021, we had quite a problem, or we perceived quite a problem, my wife and I and stepson, of drug traffic and different things down here in the park. And, it made us nervous because of the people that were coming in, and a lot of times things would be going on over by where the kids' playground is, and we didn't think it was a good situation. So I came to a meeting and asked you guys to do something about it, and within 2 weeks, between all of you, we heard that there were going to be some fencing put in and things like that. And I'll tell you, since that fencing has gone in, virtually we don't have much of a problem, if any, at this point in time. And I've thanked you personally, but I want to go on record and thank you too, because that's because you responded, and it was just right. Having Travis come in and lock up at night and make sure that there's nothing going on at the time, then that's another good thing. It's just once in a while we see something, but it doesn't, it's pretty much just kids just having fun and things like that. So anyway, I wanted to say we really appreciate it and everything you do. Of course, we appreciate the way the park is kept, and you service so many people here from all over. I mean, there's been people from all over the country here this year. So anyway, and they get down here and they say, oh wow, this is really beautiful, Yeah, well, welcome to Allyn. So Anyway, thank you very much for
Well,
that.
we needed that. Thank you, Barry.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Okay,
We're 2 for 2.
yeah. I think that ends our public comment. Anything for the good of the order? Don't think so?
No.
Baseball season has started for junior high. I'll be umpiring again tomorrow at Hawkins Middle School.
Oh, really?
Great.
Yeah.
Congratulations, that's wonderful.
I have a feeling though for you, baseball's kind of year round, maybe it's just more at home when it comes to the television games. Okay, anyway.
Well,
so
what
that's
it
great.
is junior highs play in the fall, and
Okay.
high schools play in the spring because there's not enough fields for junior high and high school to be playing at the same time in the spring.
That must be a kick.
So, you know, that's why they've done it like that, and there's not enough officials,
Okay,
so.
that's great. All right, Larry,
Yeah.
thanks.
Anything else? No? Okay. Meeting adjourned.
All right.
Thank you, folks.
That was so gentle.